right, I've talked about this phony statistic before, but it's probably a good time to bring it up again. And I put it under the fallacy of feminism, another one of their lies and propaganda techniques that's been used for decades now to create a narrative that simply isn't true. So the claim is being made that when fathers ask for custody, they win 93% of the time. The thing that they're not including, that she's purposely avoiding stating in her little statement here, is the definition of what custody is. See, they're basing it solely on the definition of custody being joint custody or physical custody. They're not differentiating between them. And that's a very, very important distinction because you see, when you take out joint custody, the numbers change radically. When you interpret it as who gets physical custody, and the far more important thing to feminists and mothers, the child support, it was, at the time of this survey, over 90% of the time, the mother is getting custody. That's a significant difference. And it shows how they've manipulated things to create their little phony narrative. Now, things have gotten a little bit better, but when you look at the numbers and go by physical custody, depending on what you look at, it's somewhere between 80 and 85% of the time it's awarded to mom, and 10 to 15% of the time awarded to dad. The other little tidbit they love to leave out, or sometimes twist to make it to their advantage, is that, well, dads don't often seek custody. They don't fight for their children. Think about that statement for a second. Why should any good dad have to fight for his children? It shows that mothers actually don't care about the children. They care about the money. Because no good mother would ever force their children and the father apart, would never force him to fight for the children. The very act of forcing him to fight proves they are an unfit mother. Now, of course, they're all going to throw out the, well, it's abuse and all these other excuses they have. Those are very, very rare cases. It conveniently leaves out the fact that mothers abuse children far more than fathers do. What we need to do, gentlemen, is call this bullshit out every single time because we've stayed too quiet. The other thing they leave out is the very fact that divorce lawyers, when they first meet with fathers, almost universally tell them, you can try and get custody, but the odds of you winning are very slim. And it's going to be very, very costly. Tens of thousands of dollars. Which many fathers who've just been tossed out of their house, who are struggling to feed themselves, let alone the children, don't have. So they seek joint custody or make agreements, even though they don't want to. They can't put up a fight because they don't have the means to do so. Which brings us back to, why do they even have to fight at all? It's all a scam. It's all propaganda and a lie. And until we men stand up and start speaking out about it vehemently, over and over again, calling it out every single time they post it or say it for what it is, until we do that, things are not going to change. Because society believes this BS because that's all they've heard for decades.